Hey guys, welcome back to Grind Lifestyle Podcast. I'm Nick, that's Scott, that's Jesse, and today we've got Elliott Ives, the guitar player for Justin Timberlake, amongst many other amazing things that he does. We'll just leave it at that. Guitar player for Justin Timberlake. Holy shit. That's pretty fucking huge. Anyway, how's it going, man?
Man, it's good. This is my first day off, and shit, I don't know when.
Nice. Barlow
Is
was
it okay
saying you guys are
to
doing
to some
18-hour
profanity?
rehearsals.
Say
Huh?
what?
Barlow
Is
was
it?
saying you guys are doing 18-hour rehearsals or something.
No, I mean 11
11? Jeez.
Jeez, holy.
every
That's crazy.
day. We're rehearsing in an arena here in Vancouver, BC, Canada, and then in 10 days we move to Rogers Arena here in town, and we start the world tour. We'll go till next summer.
Oh, very cool.
Your life's about to get busy.
Yes, and it's about time because that COVID took us out for a good bit. But we, over the past 5 years, we have recorded hundreds and hundreds of songs and narrowed them down and made a good album for the people. We've got a lot of music left for movies and other things that Justin does, and looking forward to repurposing a lot of the stuff we did over the COVID period.
So, how did we get lucky enough to have a brand new startup podcast with our first episodes getting ready to kick here within the next day or two? How do we have the lead guitarist for Saving Abel and the lead guitarist for Justin Timberlake side by side on my computer screen right now? Nick Martin, how the hell does this happen?
Well, we got to thank Scott Bartlett for that, for having a homie like Elliott for sure. And Scott just for being a solid dude and being part of our company and just kicking ass all around.
Scott,
So,
you having
Elliott
fun
and
with Grind
I
Lifestyle so far?
say again.
Are you having fun with the Grind Lifestyle stuff so far?
I'm loving it because Elliott and I have always been like-minded like that. Like, man, just shut up and kick ass in everything. I mean, even if it comes down to us going out, we're like, if we're going out, we're gonna go out. We're gonna do this right.
we
But
were talking about that earlier. I have two speeds: stop and go. And
Well,
it's,
and Scott and I, we've become pretty good friends. So Scott has graced me with some of these road stories in the past that just make me wonder how he's still alive. And so if you're hanging out with Scott Bartlett, there's something to
Elliott,
be said.
Elliott's got his fair share. Elliott and I go all the way back to college. I moved to Memphis in '96 to go to Rhodes College, and we were the same year. We were freshmen in '96, and we've been really tight ever since. Hands down, one of my best friends. And again, we're like-minded and both ended up in the music industry, and we both majored in music. So it just made sense. And I hope he talks about Huss today. He's got his own version of grind lifestyle. It's the exact same thing, but in German format, which to me, what we're talking about is universal. Just kick ass and don't look back.
You guys,
Yeah,
I mean, this might be an asinine question, but how often do you guys get to play together?
we have not often enough.
Never.
We own a studio together too, but he's always gone, and if he's home, I'm usually gone. We rarely cross paths, and as we get older, stuff just happens. And but Scott has this knack for getting in town. I'm like, man, he's home, and then he's at the casino, or he's off doing something, and he's got his woman there, and I've got my woman. We're getting older, so it's. I guess 10 years ago we probably went real hard in the paint. But
Can you tell us a little bit about your brand, your company, what you got going on besides being a kick-ass guitar player?
I mean, I dabble in a lot of different things. I've got a slew of investors and other people that I, after every tour, I take, little pieces here and there and invest and invest and invest, because I can't do this shit forever, and my body hurts. But I'm planning, in the next 10, 15 years to be on, on a beach somewhere, and chilling, living the good life, raising these little youngins. But really, man, Scott and I own a studio and 10 Airbnbs together in Memphis.
Yep.
It's like a compound in a really cool part of town. We have really 3 studios, 2 for the public, one's like a private room, and then other rooms for rent. I mean, it's, what is it, 12,000 square foot building, and then we own the places around it together, and we're just trying to just make something happen in a city that gets a leg up and then gets a leg back. Like Memphis is known for its crime, and I mean, it's like a Detroit. Like, we have like a high murder rate, but as soon as we get going, our best basketball player for the Grizzlies gets a gun charge or whatever. I mean, like, it's always a setback for us. But I mean, there's some really good stuff happening in Memphis, but at the same time, both of us know we have to get outside to go make something happen. If that makes sense.
I think it's kind of the same too for where Jesse and I are. Like, growing up here, it was awesome, and then it's just now been overcome with homeless people taking over our parks. We can't take the kids to the park anymore. Trying to build businesses here, fighting with city council members in my town, and trying to make a difference, make a change. We're like so many steps behind everybody that they don't want to change things. They don't want things to move forward and progress. So
where are you guys?
Look out of town.
They're in Oregon.
We're the very southern end of Oregon. So
Yeah,
are you familiar with Oregon at all?
So I have family in Corvallis, Oregon.
Yeah,
Okay.
so that's about 3.5 hours north of us. We're down Grants Pass, Medford area.
Yeah, I'll be heading
Dude,
up that morning.
I'm going to be right by you pretty soon. You want to come to a show?
Yes.
Absolutely.
We play Vancouver, then Seattle. You know what? We usually
you guys are playing Portland. I think you're playing the Motive Center. I saw.
So
and then, my buddy said you guys are playing in Vegas too. So I'm like, oh, maybe I'll jump on a plane and go to Vegas.
So it is. It is actually.
Got my info. I'll VIP y'all real quick.
So it is easier for us to go to Vegas than Portland.
Yeah.
Okay.
And so Vegas for us from
City, why not, man?
Well, and it's a direct flight from here. So Medford, which is 20 minutes for Nick, 45 minutes for me, and it's only a $250 round trip ticket, and we get fully comped when we're in Vegas. So it's Portland is a 5-hour car ride.
And we both have kids, and my kids suck. So you put them in the car for 5 hours. You want to put yourself up for adoption and let the wife take them.
I don't even want to hear it. I decided to be the smart guy. So you're a dad, right? Tell us about.
Yeah, I have a 9-year-old and a 3-year-old. So by 2 different ladies.
I have a 22-year-old, going to be 23, just left the Army, moving to Seattle. He's going to be in Seattle here in about 2 weeks. So really proud of him. He was from a previous relationship with my wife. The only dad he's ever known. I adopted him when he was 3. I've been his dad his entire life. He's mine. I don't do the step thing. And then I've got a 17-year-old I got in a fight with today. And then I've got a 7-year-old and a 4-year-old, with the 4-year-old being my only daughter. And the fight with my 17-year-old is because he wanted to go on a 2-hour trek to the coast, which is to the worst rated road in the United States. And he wants to take his 1996 Jeep Grand Cherokee with shitty ass headlights and come back midnight, 1 o'clock with a bunch of friends. And so, understanding that kids need to do things, I said, no, but you can take my Jeep. I've got a brand new Jeep, Grand Cherokee Limited, black on black, murdered out, leather seats. I'm like, you take the $60,000 Jeep. No, I don't want to take it. Well, then you ain't fucking going.
Yeah, right.
It is that simple. But that
was my first car, was a 96 Wrangler.
Perfect.
Nice.
Yeah, here's the Grand Cherokee, but it's Nick and Scott both know my wife decided that we needed a vacation. So instead of spending thousands of dollars on plane tickets for the 6 of us, I drove my entire family to Vegas and back over spring break. 15 hours each way.
Brutal, bro.
Dude,
my host took care of you when you got there.
Our host. Yeah, it's Scott hooked me up with his host, also named Scott, one of the greatest guys I've ever met. He is absolutely Fantastic.
He's
I
solid.
am going to reach out to him. We're going to schedule to get him on this as well, so you guys know.
Nice, man.
So
Yeah, I took my my baby to Vegas the last time I was down there with my wife, and that was just stupid.
why'd you take because you were trying to get her to go up to the roller coaster ride so you'd have someone tall enough to ride, or what?
Yeah, exactly. No.
Hey, I have to make a short joke about Nick once an episode, so that's out of the way now. So, anyways, back to you,
what you
Elliott.
do.
More about what you got going on. It's I know we have the side investment stuff that you're talking about, taking a chunk, touring, getting ready for the tour. You said it's going to go all the way through the summer.
Yeah, so they're actually now rebooking places that certain legs that we're going to do. So we're going to do them twice. And once this is a well-oiled machine, the tour starts in 10 days on April 29th in Vancouver at Rogers Arena. Then we go to Seattle, we go down the West Coast, and then we go to Phoenix, Vegas. We do all that, start moving. And then I think around July, we have a 2-week break and then go to Europe for a few months. But everybody is now, even before the show has started booking legs next year coming back around. So we're playing Atlanta twice, Memphis twice, Nashville twice. I think we're doing LA twice.
Right.
And this show is, Mr. Timberlake always has to do something that no one's done before. And it's funny, as will be my 3rd world tour with him and 4th album that I participated in, playing and writing and co-producing. It's funny. It's like Taylor Swift has bought stages from him. Bruno Mars has bought certain lifts that he designed himself with a team from him. And he always is an innovator, and the guy just doesn't quit. And it's funny. I was talking to Scott earlier about you guys' mantra, and then I have it tattooed under my armpits, and I have a crew, kind of like a cult that we did called Huss, Huss, which originates from the Germanic term Hus, which is basically just live every day to the fullest, go get it. You don't know when it's going to be your last. Just rip hard, and run. And back in the day, it was like, hey, man, it's a bunch of educated people, no dumbasses, like-minded people, but that could be doctors, lawyers, accountants, whatever, but chose arts, to be musicians, to be chefs, to really dive into what they really wanted to, and luckily was afforded the opportunity to. But at the end of the day, we are always pressing the gamut on trying to do something that hasn't been done before. And at our age, in our 40s, I'm 45. Mr. Timberlake is 42, or 43. Shit, I think he's 43 now. Nonstop trying to do something that has never been done before. And still today, once this tour starts, people are going to be like, what the hell? He's done it again. Like, I don't even know how much it costs to do the stage. I know we have something like 17 buses and like 28 18-wheelers to haul all the shit. And we have like 140 something person crew. We hire about 100 to 200 locals every show. Union workers. That's
a massive production.
It's a massive undertaking. Yeah. It's a massive production, but it really presses the gamut always. And other artists see it and they go, "Oh, Justin Timberlake! Like, I don't know how this guy just stays at the top of the food chain for this long, but he does it unselfishly and just." He always says, you'll see him in the hallway, and he always says, "Hey, man, all I ask is that you work as hard as I do." And that is something that has been instilled in me. And I see this guy go, and he's an alien. And so you have to become an alien.
My next question was, where does he get his energy from? Because the dude seems like he's always got his foot in something.
He does. And you know what? It's like you can read the tabloids, you can read reviews or whatever. The dude will never fall backwards. if he falls 2 steps forward. And
Mm-hmm.
it's so amazing to me where he gets that from. It's just he's an alien. I mean, there are just certain people out there that for instance, we had a full show run through 2 nights ago at 8 p.m. after working from 11 a.m. till 7 p.m. Had an hour dinner break. 8 p.m. ran the whole show. Yesterday had to be there at 9:30 a.m. to run the show again at 11 a.m. So then he could get on a jet, go to Vegas to host a celebrity golf tournament this weekend that he'll kick everybody's ass in. And I'm like, how do you do that? I mean, everybody says the same thing. How do you do it? I mean, we have a football out in the arena and everybody's throwing the football. How does he throw a better spiral than everybody else? I don't freaking know, man. But the guy is just, I think they're just aliens out there. And when you get with one and you see in the studio and on the road how hard and how diligent that person is, it makes you go even harder too, you know. And I mean, yesterday morning I hadn't really warmed up properly, and it got to about the 8th song in the set, and I literally my hand cramped, and I had to peel it off the guitar.
Jeez.
And I had this one little note I had to play, like a single line note, and I had my pinky and I was holding it like this. I was like,
So how long is the set every night that you guys do?
It's a straight 2-hour show.
Okay.
No break. I mean, there's literally, I'm trying to still find a second time I can take a sip of water.
Uh-huh.
It's
At 2 hours.
It's
Damn.
30,
You got
it's
the
like
one set.
38 songs, dude, and it's like all medley style, and it's insane. But as we do it, we run it every day. It gets easier and easier, but it's not like we're not like a typical band that takes the song from the record and plays the song down and goes the next song. Maybe has a cool transition, maybe has an extended solo, whatever. Our stuff is like super duper scripted. We have lifts going up and down, lights, places you can't move on the stage, or the laser will burn a hole in your leg.
Crazy.
Yeah,
So
and then
now I'm like super stoked to come see a show. Holy crap.
Yeah, me too.
Dude, and I'm not
Except
going to
I
give it
can't
away.
take my
I can't
wife.
give it away, but there's something that's never been done before that we're doing. I don't even know how much it cost him, but every day he does it, and he looks at me when he comes off because I'm the first person right there, and he goes, "Worth every penny." So
So
you
insane.
guys want to see it for yourself, but
Yeah.
it's insane. I mean,
Oh, wow.
I thought seeing Bon Jovi when I was a kid in the '80s, when he got that tethered harness and flew over the crowd, I thought that was the most
One of the most
amazing thing.
iconic scenes in the history of live performance.
I thought I had seen it all, and this
Yeah.
is like that times a million.
Yeah, that one, and then Garth Brooks shooting through the stage. I think that's
Oh
another
yeah.
iconic one.
I don't know. Tommy Lee's got some pretty cool shit that he's
Oh, dude, Tommy Lee, man. Listen, Girls tour, 86. I was 7 years old. My dad took me to see Guns N' Roses opening up for Motley Crue, and I saw Tommy do the whole flip thing.
Yeah.
I still to this day am like, how the hell
Right.
did this dude do that? I mean, but those dudes were real musicians, even though they were injecting Jack Daniels into their veins. I don't know how the hell they did that. They played their instruments, you know. And
What is it with artists and Jack Daniels? There is so much good whiskey and bourbon on the planet. And look, my wedding ring is a Jack Daniels. There we go.
I can't even do the Jack anymore. It's hurt. I'm getting too old, so I've retired to the James.
So I've switched. I'm an old fashioned drinker now. So away from the whiskey into the bourbon. Buffalo Trace is my bourbon.
I love it.
And so that with a single sugar cube, a couple cherries, and a
try this. I'm
Grandpa.
an owner of a company in Alabama called Clyde Mays Whiskey.
oh.
And my father went to high school with. There was a moonshiner named Clyde Mays way back in the day, who is my dad's friend's grandfather. And he used to sell moonshine in Bama. and got locked up, several times for it. And finally, the recipe went down the line, and my dad's buddy in high school called and was like, "Hey, I'm taking my grandpa's recipe and I'm making a distillery." And so we're now knee deep in Clyde Mays whiskey, and we're having an issue because we've sold everything. The supply and demand is we got to have more supply, which is a wonderful thing. But be on the lookout, and if you guys come see a show, and I'll make sure that you get some. We have
what a fantastic label.
Yes, you checking it out?
Shit.
Yeah, man, we have Prospero tequila. We now have Van Gogh vodka, which is a flavored vodka. We do all the espresso martinis and shit, which I'm not into, but
price point's nice. I'm looking at the special reserve bottle right now. That red label is fire.
That thing will set you on your ass, man.
So are you guys distributing in Oregon? Can I go buy a bottle somewhere?
You can. In fact, when we get done with this, I'll find out who our Oregon distributor is, and we'll figure that out. Because starting this tour, on the last tour we did, Man in the Woods in 18 and 19, every area I went to, I'd have a distributor come out and bring boxes of it, and he would put them in all of our dressing rooms, tour buses. And by the end of the tour, people were wearing Clyde Mays hats and shirts, and everybody was drinking shit.
So who's the gentleman on the bottle? Is that the original?
That's Clyde himself, the moonshiner. Yeah. So my dad's buddy's grandfather.
Original Alabama style whiskey.
Yes, sir.
Well, I guess I need to come see you in person then.
Yes, you do.
So I'll make sure
I'll roll out the red carpet for you, my friend.
I'll make sure we get contact information. I got no problem making a 4-hour jaunt to Portland or hopping on a plane to Vegas. So
hey, man.
Well, I'm looking. They're not in Portland.
No, we're not doing Portland. That's what I was saying. But you know what? They're talking about adding it at the end. I think it's just going to be one of those things where we get the machine well oiled, and then people will start talking about the tour and being like, "Oh shit!"
What's the Vegas date?
May 10th and 11th.
That's the one that you already talked to me about, or is that a different one?
That's a different one. That's I was supposed to go next weekend to I think Lit is next weekend down there.
Yeah. Well, I'm just gonna put this out there. I'm off tour on the 11th.
Well, you guys, you just let me know when.
We should all jump on a plane. It's a cheap flight to Vegas from where we're at.
We have a B stage with a bar, and that's where all the VIPs go. And I'll hook you guys up, put you in the friends and family. And
let me talk to my associate head coach. We have a baseball. I'm a high school head coach here.
Oh, nice.
And so we have games on Tuesdays and Fridays. But
man, I know I'm missing my daughter's soccer season. She's like a budding kick-ass soccer player. She's 9 years old in third grade. And I went to every practice, every game before this all started, and now I haven't seen one. And
dude, I get you. So my 4-year-old and 7-year-old are on the same t-ball team. My 7-year-old is advanced, but they didn't have a team for him to play on at the next level, so he stayed in t-ball one more year. And yesterday our high school game got canceled, so I was able to go to my first game watching them play, their third game of the year. And I get all those dad feelings of, yeah, my time as a high school head coach is about over.
I was in our transport vehicle yesterday coming back to the hotel, and one of the background singers, she's 37 years old, and they were talking about having kids, and she was like, I just think it's just a selfish thing to have a child right now, just to put him out in this crazy world. I mean, and then just say, go for it. I was like, actually, once you have that kid, and I can't speak for a woman, obviously, I don't carry a child, but I definitely was there, and thank God I was on tour. I had to go to Australia. We had to induce labor for my first child because I had to go to Australia for 5 weeks.
Ooh.
And had her 3 days early, but she was ready, and I knew her for 3 days, and thank God for FaceTime. But anyway, we were talking yesterday, and she was like, it's a very selfish thing for me to have a child. I was like, actually, once you have that kid, it's the most selfless thing, because you put that child in the world, and all of a sudden you're like, oh man, I'm done.
Yeah.
I mean, I can only supply what I can supply, but like it's all you now, you know. And the
Yeah.
things that I know my daughter is going to do, they're going to way surpass anything I do. So right now, it's just about out here feeding them, you know.
Hmm.
And
It's
I hate
100%
I
why
see the
I'm
soccer
doing
games and
all
stuff,
this
but at the
stuff.
same
Yeah.
time, Daddy's going to put that food on the table, you know.
What do you think,
Yeah.
Scott? Do we need to make this happen and all meet up in Vegas on the 11th?
Come
I'm gonna
on,
look at it.
guys.
I got a show tonight, and I'll look at it after that.
What did you just say?
I'm gonna look at it. I've
No,
got
no,
a
no, no,
show.
no. What's that other part? What's that news we've been waiting to hear? Scott Bartlett in action in a show.
Oh, playing a show. Yeah, it's been since I
It's
played
gonna
out there.
Yep. So it's gonna, by the time that this episode releases, you'll be 4 or 5 shows in.
And hopefully we'll have a whole
You
another
can ask
tour going
Elliott.
on.
Elliott and I were probably 2 of the hardest working musicians in Memphis at one point. We never went 2 days without playing a show.
Since
And
December, right?
So many
Since you were
different
grandson.
bands together, bands. I mean, I played drums in a band that Scott played guitar in.
yeah,
Uh,
Crazy.
and then just crisscross paths since we were, I mean, what, 90, late 90s?
96 is when I got to Memphis.
Yeah. And we started jamming in 97, I'd say,
Yeah.
97, 98. I got my first record deal when I was 18 and was at Rhodes College with Scott. And then we just kept crossing paths and just became good buddies. And you know,
He's
good
easy
buddy,
to be a
good
good
buddy,
buddy
man.
with. He is super easy to be a good. I mean, I consider Scott a pretty good friend now, and it's obviously we have a working relationship, we have a personal relationship as well. I just met him when he was here in Grants Pass at his last show, and then him and I just kind of clicked. And
Yeah.
I tell you, there's the 2 hardest people I've ever met in my life as far as working are both on the screen. It sounds like you're the third, but Nick and Scott don't know how to not work.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that when I wake up at 6 a.m., I'm going to hear from Nick by 8.
Yeah.
And you're lucky because I let you wait. I waited to text you until about 8. But yeah, no, hopefully by the time this podcast comes out, hopefully we'll have a whole nother run of shows for Scott announced with another big artist that Scott's talking to right now and talking to an
Yeah,
agent
man.
back in.
He
So
needs to be out there, man. He's a road dog. I mean, you know, it takes a certain person to be able to do what we do.
Well, and one of the things that I'm really liking about what Scott's getting ready to embark on starting tonight is he's talented enough to be the main dude.
Oh yeah.
Right. And so for Scott to be able to be front and center, nothing against anything else, definitely not throwing shade anywhere by any means, but I'm excited to watch Scott's solo stuff with him being the lead advance because he's overdue for it.
I just remember at the show that we had about in December when Scott was doing his stuff, the response from the crowd was like
Amazing.
holy shit. Like this is I've never seen that. And I've done hundreds and hundreds of shows being a promoter for 20 something years and having bands do kind of what Scott was doing with the other guy that was there. And it's just like I've never seen a response from a crowd like that before for a guitar player. It's like, holy shit. Like, okay, you've got the talent, you've got the stage presence, you connect with the crowd, you connect with
personable dude, man. I mean,
Yeah.
you can't not walk into a room and have Scott in there and not like pay attention.
Well,
Yeah.
what I love about Scott is he's really rough sounding in a good way, Scott. So don't take that the wrong way. He's got that grit about his voice when, like right now, when we're talking to him, he's got that grit. And then as soon as he starts singing and he hits a note, it's super clean, super smooth with that little bit of rustic in it. It's just a great sound.
That's the Jack Daniels, dude.
And the storytelling behind it is like, damn, there we go.
Not only that, but you guys already probably know this, but I mean, I used to be able to hang with Scott drinking Jack Daniels, and the guy can drink anyone under the table that I've seen and have no change in his personality or in his psyche. Like he's always there, he's always present. He's and then the next day he'll be like, "What did we do last night?" I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me, man?" I mean, and he's like, "I don't remember anything." I was like, "Dude, you like saved me from getting my ass kicked." Like, I mean, what?
Well,
I
he's
had
a nice sized dude to have in your back.
No doubt, but also like would never human teddy bear in a way, in a good way. I mean, would never. I have one good story I have to share with you guys because I was thinking about this because it was a near death experience.
Oh God,
You or
I know where
Scott?
this is going.
Both of us. So I had this Tahoe, and Scott used to live literally on the street that we now own homes together with, not even a block away on Philadelphia. And we went out, we were partying. I mean, we were young, dumb, stupid. And he was sitting behind me in my two-door Tahoe. And I don't know, some shit started being talked about, whatever. And I dared him to put me in a chokehold. And I'm driving.
You're driving?
I'm driving, and he's behind me. And all of a sudden, this big-ass arm comes behind me. And I'm like this. And I'm just took a left on Philadelphia. Now I got one block before I run into somebody's yard. I got to take a left or a right. There's no forward. And I said, "I'm gonna kill us both." And he said, "Go ahead." And I swear to you, I pressed the gas. I don't even know how fast I got, but there was a split second where I was like, "I'm gonna," and there was a truck parked parallel. I would have gone right through the truck up into somebody's yard, probably into the house. He had me so tight. I was like, "All right, man, I'm gonna kill us. I'm gonna kill us." And I took off. And I split second thought, let's just do it, see what happens. Let's see if these airbags work. One of those kind of things.
You guys are a different fucking breed.
And I ran up into his front yard. He still had me like this. And then all of a sudden I was like, "I didn't kill us. I didn't kill us." And he let go and he's like, "All right, buddy, let's go inside and have a drink." Some young, dumb, stupid shit. I mean, we must have been 21, 22 years old.
How did you make
Yeah,
it
we
to
were
your
we were
40s
coming from a
doing that
King's
type of
X
shit?
show.
Oh, yeah, we were at King's X. That's right. And we were just so jacked up watching them play. I mean, and it was just, dumb and full of shit.
I'd forgotten about that one. Well, I'm glad we're still here.
So you knew a different almost death story, Scott?
What's that?
You know a different one then?
Yeah, there's quite a few. That's a different podcast altogether.
Oh my gosh. Yeah, now we got to start another podcast. Bartlett's near-death experiences. And
oh man, I have
985.
I have more Bartlett stories that will freak y'all out and make y'all laugh. And I don't know if it's for this, but there's some I mean, just oh my God.
I was really good friends with Steve Harwell before he passed away. And man, that dude could party. Holy shit. Like I thought I could go hard. Fuck. Like that guy went harder than anybody I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah. I don't know how Scott does it, man. But
well, I think Scott has told me he's slowed down a little bit.
I've slowed down a little bit. It just
doesn't have to.
I can't get up anymore and get shit done. It drives me crazy, So
but you also can't die.
Yes.
Oh yeah. I'm robotic.
So I mean, but yeah, don't test it. But
yeah.
And one, if I can say one thing, man, because I've just got to, since we're talking about, I mean, Scott, one of my greatest friends, and will be forever. What he has done for my family. My stepfather passed yesterday morning.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
And for a long, thank you, but he's in a way better place now, and a long bout with lymphoma for the past 5-6 years. They would treat him, put him on all these experimental treatments as like the oldest candidate, at 79 years old for some of these things. I had to vamp out and go to LA and start these tour rehearsals and all this promo, and everything happens for a reason. I do believe that. Scott stepped in and really helped my mother out, helped my stepfather. I was taking him to doctor's appointments, and my stepfather just freaking loved him so much. and asked about him when about a week and a half ago when I was in hospice, and I kissed him on the forehead and I said, "I love you, Paul. I gotta go." And I knew that was gonna be the last time I saw him. But he asked about Scott right there in front of me and my girlfriend. I was like, man, he's like, man, I love him. And Scott would be like, yeah, I went and bench pressed a little extra today for David, my stepfather, you know, and she told him that. I was on FaceTime with him, and he opened one eye and was like, oh, oh. So I mean, just man,
My lifting buddy.
friendship like this, you just don't you don't find, you know. You guys know as you get older, I'm assuming we're all around the same age. I know I'm 45 years old.
I'm 43.
44.
Yeah, 46.
You know, like when you're in high school, college, whatever, you have all this slew of friends, but as you get older, the real ones stick by, you know, and people fall off, and people who you thought were a certain caliber of person aren't anymore. Shit happens, but you know, your friend margin becomes narrower and narrower. And I just know this is one of those dudes that they ain't going nowhere, you know.
I got you, brother.
A beautiful thing. And from what I can see just thus far in these few minutes we've been on the phone, Jesse and Nick, man, you guys got to have a similar connection.
We do.
I mean, if you're at 6 every morning, you know by 8 he's going to be calling you. If he doesn't call you, something you're probably going to be like, something's
funny thing is I talk to Bartlett 30-40 times a day. It's like so crazy.
Yeah,
man.
We're all pretty tight knot, you know. It's the grind thing is still
tight,
in its infancy.
Motivated as shit though. Just like there's so many things I want to accomplish. I want to make sure my kids are proud of what I'm doing, and just, you know, I love what we're doing with Scott on other than grind lifestyle with his music career, and just kind of furthering that. And
actually he doesn't know about that. I know we have to wrap this up soon, but just so you know, these gentlemen are helping manage my solo career.
Okay, great. Good.
So we've been talking, we've actually started a management company for artists that just need different, you know, the world's changing with social media, and Jesse's a guru when it comes to analytics. That's how we got him involved. And so they've done some really interesting things with me and my Facebook, but obviously we have to talk daily multiple times. So we've gotten really close through that. Elliott's such a good friend of mine. I'll fill you in on all this next time we talk, dude.
Hey, I would like to invite Elliott for a part 2. I think we all get along really well. This thing's gonna blow up in a great way. I refuse to let it not. We were supposed to release our first episode over a month ago. I held on to it because we just weren't ready. We're publishing our first episodes this weekend.
Congratulations.
It's going to do well. What brings me to grind is the same mindset that Scott and Nick have. I refuse to fail. I'll do whatever it takes to succeed. And I would like to cordially invite you to have a part 2, because I think you're 1, super entertaining, and 2, the jive is great, and 3, I want to hear more stories, but we're 45 minutes in.
Yeah.
I know that you both have things to get prepared for.
Guys, I'm here for you anytime. I really enjoyed Zoom meeting you, and
hopefully we'll meet
any
in
friend of
person.
Scott is a friend of mine, man, and I'd love to do part whatever.
Cool. So real quick before I hit stop on this record, social media channels, anything you'd like people to go follow you on, check out your stuff?
So I am going to resume my social media activity on the first night of our tour, April 29th. I actually have a buddy helping me. To be honest with you, I used to get in so much trouble being on social media from exes that I don't even associate with. I don't even know how people have time to look at what you like. But I used to sit on the toilet, and that was the only time I did Instagram or Facebook. And I would get in so much trouble with exes and stuff about just crazy stuff that I just started following all, I can't say the word with the M, little people, strippers, midget strippers. I'll say it. Okay, I'm sorry. And all of a sudden, I didn't get bothered anymore because but every time I turn on Facebook, there's like 40 of them, you know, all the way up and down. And so, but then these women just quit bothering me. But I have Instagram at Soy Rogers, SOIRODGERS. I don't know why. It was the first thing that came to my head when my manager's like, "You've got to get on Instagram." But I'll tell you this: since the pandemic, getting off social media for me has been a very freeing, a very wonderful thing. I love looking at it sometimes when I'm pooping to keep in touch with people that I don't keep in touch with through text. But Scott knows I'm a call me. I'm a text guy.
Yep.
Barely do emails anymore. But however, I will be having a buddy of mine that's on tour that does all Justin's social media is going to help me out doing some stuff and doing some posts. But I have been off. But Elliott Ives, ELLIOTTIVES on Facebook, at Soy Rogers. I'm from Alabama originally, so there's a dude with the Alabama. It's not even my picture, but I'll keep you guys informed. I'll be back on it soon.
So, well, and I'm going to overlay it. So I'll find your socials, even if they're dormant, and I'll make sure that we get your handles on the podcast so people can find you. And maybe
I'll make sure you got them. I'm friends with
them.
them
Some
on all
more
the
shirts
platforms.
too, man. We got some new designs out, so get
yeah, man. And you know, I'm out here with a bunch of people. Everybody's in the gym every day.
Nice
to do what we do for 2 hours straight. I mean, I almost vomited the first run through 3 nights ago. There's so much dancing. There's so much sweat. I mean, it's hard to even find a time to get a sip of water. But everybody here is busting their asses. So anything you guys want to send, come to a show, give us a box of shirts. I'll make sure everybody gets one. I'll brandish you with whiskey and good times. And man, just keep the ball rolling, man. Hustle hard, fucking grind hard.
Hell yeah,
love it. All right, I'm gonna hit stop on this record, but hang out so we can exchange some contact information.
You got it.
All right, guys. Hey, this is part 1. Look forward to Elliott Ives part 2 coming hopefully soon. I am Jesse. That is Scott. That is Nick, and that is Elliott Ives, lead guitarist for Justin Timberlake. Thanks for joining.